Don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Okay, so today I'm going to have a little bit of a play, an art play in my small journal that I created. So this is the journal that I did a while ago, and it's only just over 5 inches by I think it's about 7, yeah, about 5 by 7. So it's only a small journal. So one of the sheets that I've got in the journal is one that I did, I think was either with a jelly plate, some kind of pattern on it anyway, a clean-up page. So I thought I would use that up today. And I'm feeling in a kind of silly, whimsical, kind of non-serious mood today. So I'm going to play around with some daft colours and some silly imagery, and we're going to see what kind of happens. I've got this piece of tissue paper which is from a napkin, Christmas. I've got a piece of book text. I've got a new stencil that I will be releasing in January. This is the particle stencil. It's available to pre-order now, along with there's a sunflower or helianthus stencil which I'm doing pre-orders on at the moment. So this is the particles one. So there's that. I've got a paper doll that I've removed the legs from. You'll see why in a minute. So those are the kind of elements that I'm going to be playing with today, and some really, really wowy colours. I've got bubblegum pink, I've got peacock teal, and I've got pistachio mint. So what I call sugar almond colours. Now the power's just kind of fluctuated then. There's a bit of a crackle on there. Don't like the sound of that. Hopefully I'll be able to get through this without the lights going out. That's all I need. Right, okay, so let's get cracking. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue onto this piece of card the tissue paper. So just give that a quick liberal coat all the way over, so we hide what's underneath. Now if I drop that tissue paper over the top, which I've cut to the right size, he says hopefully, not an exact science, I have to admit. There we go. That should just cover everything. Not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. Just give it a coat. Yeah, it's already starting to stick to my fingers, look. It's already starting to break up. I'm brushing far too hard or harsh. That's okay. Just add a little bit more up there. Just brush really, really gently. And the tissues, like I said, it's already started to give way and break down. Now I did have actually a bit of spare, so we might be able to cheat a bit. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, we should be able to cheat. Not that it really matters, but this is a good trick if you didn't want to lose your pattern. So we've got a piece there, and I think that's probably just big enough to go over that spot there, which is going to hide that big hole in the card. So I've also got a small piece there. So again, just take a small piece of the tissue, then I'm just going to drop that over the top, brush it in, so that hopefully, see the pattern of the paper is actually coming through, which is okay. There's a little bit of stuff, pattern showing just up in that top left hand corner as well, so I'm just swap that around, just grab a little bit and I can grab that piece there, and that should disappear off into the background. I think that's everything. I think we've got every bit covered, but just in case there's a bit there, let's just put that piece there. That will do. There we go. It's definitely started to show through in some places, but that's fine. Okay, let's get that dried off and then I'll be right back. Okay, so that's pretty much dried off now, so I can just quickly whip round the edges with a pair of scissors and just take off any bits of excess that we don't want hanging around. It doesn't matter if I just chew a little bit into the edges of this, it doesn't really make that much difference. We can always tidy the edges up later with a bit of distress ink if we want to. It hides a multitude of sins. That should do me. Okay, so now I want to add, still a little bit tacky just there, but that's fine. I want to add some book text circles into this now. So I'll just do 3, just because we can. No other reason at all. So, and we'll just put them kind of like that. That should do us. Now I'll just grab some remnants of glue, so whatever's left of this Tombow Aqua, I'll just stick that one down. Stick that one down there, and then stick that one down there over that bit that's still a little bit soggy. That's fine for now. Okay, I'm leaving that bit of glue there because I'm probably going to use that in a little while. So I'll just give that a bit of a run over just to encourage that to stick down. There. Okay, so I now want to add a little bit of gesso onto the page. So I apologise if you can hear some banging. Ian's downstairs working in his garage. He doesn't know I'm working up here because I didn't tell him I was going to do a bit of filming, so that's fine. Okay. So I'm just going to get a little bit of gesso, maybe water it down just a tad, and then just kind of go over the page just to knock that pattern back a little bit. Now you might think, oh my god, you just ruined that entire piece of tissue. Not really. It's one of the things that people have great difficulty with in art journaling is they're attached to the base layers, to the layers underneath. You don't have to have everything on show. You could put 100 layers down on your art journal page and only have the top 3 showing. It doesn't matter. You know what's in there. It's not what other people can see, it's what you know is underneath. Okay, I'm going to get that dried off and then I'll be right back. Okay, so that white gesso has dried, but you can still see the pattern of the poinsettia and the holly behind it. It's just not back, it's just in the background. So I'm just going to take my first of my 3 colours that I decided I was going to use, and I deliberately picked colours that didn't necessarily go with each other. And I'm just going to take a little bit of paint on my finger, and I'm just going to start applying a little bit of that paint into the page. And I'm just using my finger rather than a paintbrush because I can work the paint into the page and go in different directions when I feel the need. There. Okay, first colour. Now I'm going to add the second, which is the pistachio mint. And I'm going to do exactly the same again. So, finger, just lightly go heavy or blend it a little bit, or leave it stronger. See, we start to just build up layers of colour. A bit stronger there, I think. Maybe a little bit under there. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. Okay, so need a baby wipe. Just clear that out of the way. And just clear those 2 colours. I think using up bits like that was what I ended up creating with this base colour anyway. Could have just left it, it was almost the same colour. Okay, so let's take some of that bubblegum pink now. And then I've got my particle stencil. So I'm going to just work some of that paint into the sponge. And then I'm going to just add with that pink through the holes. So kind of like you can line up your circles. Like so. This wasn't deliberate for the size. Pure coincidence. I think I want one on top. Some more up top there. Cool. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a lot. Okay, so let me just clear that last remnant of paint away. Don't need that anymore. Ugh, it's all starting to come through. It's all over my fingers. Right, I'll get dried up and then I will be right back. Okay, that pink is dry, but I feel as though I could do with some white splatters. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just in the mood for them. Hello, you.
Hello, you. Oh, colour's nice.
They're a bit wowie, aren't they?
Yeah, why not?
Well, exactly. And I think that is going to be just enough for the background that I want. You should have seen what was under there. You'd never believe it. Just get this dry. Ian's asking for some rubber gloves. Ian's search for some rubber gloves was unsuccessful. We don't have any. I used to have some. Can't find them though. Must have got rid of them when we moved house. Just one of those things, isn't it? Okay, so you can see the splatters in the background now. Looking good for me. So the next thing that I want to do, he says, is grab a small brush, and I've got some stripy legs. And I'm going to put them about there. So I'm going to add some more of that matte medium that's just been sitting there. And I'm just going to add a little bit, just as a little bit of glue. Just like that. And then I'm going to stick those legs down like that, and then just gently go over the top. So there's a coat that just acts as a sealer. There you go. So those are the legs, and then I can get rid of that glue now. Don't need that anymore. But what I do need is just some more of that Tombow glue and my paper doll man. So I'm going to add a little bit of dollop of glue on his back, and I've got a pair of those acetate wings, and I'm just going to stick them just like that, and then add a little bit more glue on the back of his head, and just a little bit on the backs of those wings, and then I'm going to flip it over and then just glue him down just like that. Right, so that's going to take a few minutes just to dry. I can just wiggle a little bit until I'm happy with the position. Maybe we'll just put something heavy down just to hold him in place. And then just let it sit for 5-10 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, everything's pretty much stuck down now, but I do want to add some black into there. There's darkness in the background, in the legs, in the wings, that I just want to bring a little bit more to the foreground, just to kind of balance it out a little bit. So I've got some black gesso from Indigo Blue. I've just shook it up a little bit just to get a little bit in the lid. And because we've got circles, I'm just going to go around adding in a couple of offset kind of circles up there, just to add a little bit of kind of texture into the page. I think that'll do. You don't really need a lot. I'm going to add a little bit with a border. So I've got a little piece of card and I'm just going to run that through, and I'm just going to kind of add it onto the edges to kind of create a little bit of a grungy border. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfect or straight, or because it just adds a kind of frame around the page. And it is a little bit random. There. And sometimes that's all you actually need. So, once again, just need to clear that up. Get it all dried off, and then I'm ready just to add my final little quote onto the page. Okay, so that border is pretty much dry now, so I just want to add a little bit of grounding just under my character's feet. Just like a little bit of a shadow, just so it looks as though he's actually stood on something. So I'll just use my Stabilo All pencil, and I'm just going to activate that with a little bit of water. Don't worry if it looks like there's far too much there, because it will die off, and I can remove some of it just by using a bit of a tissue. That's just going to lift a little bit. And you just play with it until you're happy. And remember, if you're not happy with it, then just add a little bit more water and take some off. Easy as that, look. So I've got a little bit of a shadow under that foot, and a little bit of that shadow under that foot there. So that's working for me. I'm just going to extend that over to the left and then just over to the corner, so that ground is going to be there. And we can always just, if you want to, just push it up a little bit. Yeah, that's better. I like that. It is supposed to be a little bit whimsical, a bit tongue-in-cheek, not meant to be taken seriously. So let's just get that dried off. Then I'll be ready to add my quotes. Okay, so to do my quote, I'm going to use my Brother Dymo letter tag label making. I haven't used this for donkeys. This used to be a staple for my art journal pages before I kind of took the plunge into doing my own lettering. Before I was comfortable doing my own lettering, that was. This is what I used to use, and it was an absolute godsend. It was very, very inexpensive. I bought this in a very, very cheap shop, and it's still going strong 5 years later. Obviously I've had to replace the cartridges every so often, but hey, that's just the way it works. So I've already typed out my message, so all I have to do is just press the button. And it does take forever. Just talk amongst yourselves. Ah, there we go, done. Easy as that. So what I've done is I've made sure that when I typed out the words, I left enough gap in between so that I had a little bit of white space. So all I have to do is just snip in between the 3 sections of the phrase that I want to use and almost ready to go, and then I can just trim it if I think it's a little bit too big. I've used a small size, well it's a medium size actually, font on the label maker, because this is €1. You can make different, you can alter the size of the writing. Can't alter the font unfortunately, but I can alter the size of the words that come out, which is good. I'm just removing a little bit. Okay, so because it's a label maker, it's obviously self-adhesive. Here we go. So we're going to put our first one there, and then the second one, I've done it in 3 sections so I can put 3 tiers, because things look better in 3s, in odd numbers. That's why I've done 3 groups of circles, 3 groups of the pink, a visual triangle, but also it does really help. Just lead your eye around the page. And then the final one, cool. I said I was in a whimsical mood today. Right, so just to go around the edge, I'm hoping that one of my Pigma pens is going to work today and behave. I keep replacing these in the vague hope that they're actually going to work for any length of time other than 5 minutes, but it doesn't actually seem that they do. Well, it's not going to last at all, which is a huge shame, so I'm going to have to use a football pen instead. These never let me down, ever. There we go. So all I'll do is just draw a little box around each one, because we've got the black in there already from the frame, and in those circles it's not going to look out of place. And I did actually stick that over one of the wings. Put food balls right on plastic, which is cool. There you go. And there is my little bit of whimsy for today. So that's it. So all I have to do, he says when he's putting the pen away, is just sign it and date it. And what date is it today? 5th? 4th? 5th? There we go. So I hope you enjoyed watching that whimsical little page come together. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, blah 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 at the end of the video. It's all from me for now. I'll see you all again in a couple of days. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.